Hello everyone, this is Scorp, and this is my first full YouTube video. I'm going to record some Minecraft here. I started this base, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago, and all I did was build a platform out here in a nice desert location. And most of the base is underground, which I prefer to do anymore. I did make this original structure in large part using MC Edit before I started doing any of the Tekkit and construction here. Don't use MC Edit to edit after you've started any Tekkit projects because it'll screw them up. They're working on that, I hope, because I love MC Edit. I built so many maps I got tired of digging, but I cut this out of the raw land here. I gave myself plenty of room, because in previous maps I always, like everybody else, got jammed up in what I thought was a good sized building putting all this stuff together. This is the Thaumcraft area. I've kind of overbuilt the filtering system, but what the heck, you know, it's fun to play with. And then I have other sub-levels down here. I'll show you just briefly some of these. And again, I haven't done much in here yet, but Mistcraft, I just started that. Plenty of room to grow. Computer system there. I'm going to try to expand on that, put a graphical menu in it, etc. Some storage. And then down below here is really where I've done most of the work on this map. First thing I did was build 2 reactors and a control center for the reactors. And this was quite a bit of work, but after, like everybody else, hitting the YouTube, seeing what everybody else did, saving myself a lot of effort, I have this control system set up, and basically I'm using industrial. If you just search industrial, you'll find these components. It's the industrial information panel, and then they have, the way that's built is you have the panel and then you have the extender. The lower corner is the actual panel, and you have to ID some sensor cards on each reactor depending on how you want the panel set up. And then the range on the panel without the extender is only 8 blocks, and each range upgrade is an additional 8 blocks, so it took 2 range upgrades before I could get my information from the transmitter. And I then selected what I wanted for output. I just wanted the basics. And then the Computercraft system is a program I found and then kind of heavily modified. I'm not really good at Lua programming, but all it is status. It doesn't control anything. So you can see that it's showing the status of the 2 different cores. It shows that the cores are safe and that the cooling system status. So if I turn the core on, you can see that it now shows as on, it's still safe, and the cooling system is on. And then the information panel shows the temperature and the output. This is only a 4, I think only a 4 or 6 cell reactor setup at this time. Shows how much remaining left on the uranium life. The cooling system is on the roofs of each reactor. And I'm using the ice cooling system, which everybody seems to be favoring these days. I heard somewhere that the water cooling really doesn't do anything for you, or it's very minimal. The ice is much safer. And this is a setup with to produce endless quantities of ice and then pump it in to the core itself. You only really need 1 on most reactors. I mean, unless you're trying to do all uranium with a few ice blocks, to get maximum output, which is kind of crazy, but hey, what the heck. But I did make it kind of fail-safe. It has a wireless transmitter to show the state. The control for these, the wire is actually downstairs. Let me show you inside the reactor. I put a little security system on the reactor doors. This one console controls both doors, and it auto starts this program, which is just a simple password program, and then there's some BS to make it look official. And then it opens the doors for 20 seconds. Both of them are open now, so I can get into the core. This is a pretty standard design everybody's doing. The hardened stone here, semi-explosion proof. It'll limit the damage if it does go critical and blow up. And then I have a thermal sensor hooked into a klaxon alarm. And then here's the status transmitter for the power. This is the control power. It's just stone-clad wiring. Kind of looks neat. I'm not sure the stone actually helps anything. And then another transmitter for the overtemp. So this is the transmitter for the power signal, and of course when power is applied, the reactor shuts down, and then this is over temperature. So when the alarm goes off, it feeds this transmitter and the shutdown. So you apply power to reactor here in an emergency based on a thermal sensor, which you can set, a thermal monitor I guess it's called. And so both of them are set up that way. Pretty straightforward. Seems to be a real common design. Then I have the power being pumped out into some banks of MFSUs, and they're all topped off right now because I haven't really been using the power yet. I haven't set much up to do that. I put the MFSUs next to each other, and then when you wire them with a fiber optic, that tends to link the cables, so it kind of looks messy, but it's nice and compact for a whole bunch of energy. It's what, 16 times 10 million? So I'll let you do the math on that. I'm too tired to do that. And then they're both wired basically the same way, and then I run the fiber optic up the wall here to the upper floors. Let me show you up there. Okay, so the status is off. I always like to double check. Oh, let me show you the wiring before we go up there. This is not gonna be a tutorial. I just kind of want to show you what's involved with getting all this whiz-bang stuff to work. This switch is basically for applying power to the industrial monitors, and then you have a bundled cable coming out of the computer, actually going into the computer in this instance. As I said, the computer and the monitor are only passive displays. Excuse me. So right now the two that are off are the emergency over temperature. So the bundle runs down through the ground, splits into a T into each reactor, and then this is where the stone-clad cable comes up to take the input from the power control switch and also illuminate the lamp. Actually, the switch illuminates the lamp, but you know what I mean. Then I have an inverter here, just a simple inverter, the old school inverter, to power the green light. And then the yellow light is the over temperature, so that comes out of the bundle whenever a signal, the over temperature, trips based on that thermal monitor. that's attached right at the reactor. So each reactor has its own thermal monitor. And then everything's identical, just a mirror. So if I turn the reactor on, the status goes to green. The industrial output monitors the temperature, the actual energy units per tick, and then shows the remaining time, the life left on the uranium cores. And then a reactor system status shows in detail which core is on, off, whether it's secure. This is again temperature. And then the cooling system. So the cooling system is monitored. Should that be off, then this would, there's no trip, but the thermal trip should take care of an overtemp. And they both work the same way, obviously. Oop. Be careful what you walk around in your hands. So I could demonstrate the alarm with a redstone torch if I have one. Let me see. I think I have one somewhere here. Nope. Alright. Creative mode. Just one torch is all I need. Oh, got to go down into the reactor core. So I have to log in. And the doors will open. Stay open for 20 seconds. I'm not really into running back and forth trying to beat the timer. So, bang. I've got the audio turned down, but obviously you know what this sounds like. Isn't that fun? So now the reactor's been scrammed even though the power switch is on. And if I were even to turn the power switch off, it still indicates a trouble condition with the yellow lamp. That was kind of fun putting that together. So the monitor now reads out overheating because the circuit is getting the input from the thermal monitor, supposedly. So let me undo that. Log in again. I'm glad I didn't have this when I was building it. Open Sesame. Thank you. Okay, enough of that. But anyway, pretty standard layout. Everybody does this. If you look at YouTube, you'll see, you know, different size and shape reactors, but it's coming kind of default. The glass walls were originally intended to contain the water cooling, of course, but I found out that the water cooling is really not all that effective in terms of reducing temperature of the core. I had more cells in here than I thought. A lot of guys will run this to max by putting uranium in everything except maybe the bottom row and just putting ice in the bottom row. That seems a little risky to me, but I mean, this thing runs awfully damn cool even with 8, 10, 12 uranium cells. These are almost depleted. But hey, you know, I could add, you know, replace this rows here with uranium cells and probably, well, that would probably double the output to around just under 1,000, well, 900 energy units per tick. So that's pretty good. Pretty safe setup. I don't know what could go wrong to cause it to Fukushima, but anyway, that's pretty much it. All the wiring I've tried to, whenever I build, I got in the habit of building all my floors 3 thick. And with all this fancy wiring that this stuff does, or plumbing, conduits, pipes, whatever, you know, trying to hide wires and stuff in a too thick environment is just impossible. You know, you can't hide anything. With 3, you can take out this center channel. So there's the floor upper and the ceiling down below, and of course, I mean, you know, you get the idea. I don't have to explain this in great detail, but you can run your cable or wiring here, and it'll be hidden. So, and you have plenty of room, and with the bundled cable, you can actually run, I think, I haven't even tried this yet, but I think you can run 3 in a cavity. I'll have to do a tutorial on that, different bundled layouts, what have you. But anyway, I mean, you know, this is a new base, and I haven't really got it all fleshed out yet. I try to build a nice environment, you know, and this one is bigger than, in terms of square footage, than all the others that I built. But this is, the texture pack is Soartex Fanver. And if you're not familiar with Soartex, you really should check it out. The guy did a really good job, and he did a very complete job. It's a very complete texture package. And in normal Minecraft, this is all I used. I tried a bunch of different texture packages, but I really landed on this one, and I'm very happy that I did. There's a really good story, a sad story actually, I'm sorry, it's a sad story of the writer of the Soartex Fanver texture pack. He lived in Japan, and he lived not far from Fukushima. And he was developing kind of at the end of the development of Soartex when the earthquake hit, and Fukushima had its event. And he didn't speak real good English, and he was using a Japanese to English translator to post in the English forums at Minecraft. And he sort of said, hey, I live in Japan, earthquake, I won't be around for a while, blah, blah, blah. And I was really worried that, you know, something had happened. And he came back, I think, about 4 weeks, 5 weeks later. Some of you guys may know this story, but and he posted, family's okay, we're okay, you know, moved away for a while, blah, blah. And man, you know, what a nightmare to have to go through. And it's not like it's just a one-shot deal where, you know, tsunami hit or hurricane hit or tornado hit, now we rebuild and back to normal. It's an ongoing thing with the Fukushima. Don't know what his status is, kind of like to find out. But anyway, this is just an introductory video. And, you know, obviously I've done a little cheating here. You know, I've done my fair share, a couple thousand miles of mine shafts, and rooms full of furnaces, cooking stone, and what have you. But I wanted to take a grand tour of all the Tekkit, Thaumcraft, Mistcraft stuff. And the only way I could really do that in the little time that I have to play was to go to cheat mode. I don't know if I mentioned that the original structure, or the base part of this structure here, I built in MC-Edit. But be very careful using MC-Edit with Tekkit maps. Interacting with any of the blocks that are standard Minecraft is fine. But at the current state of development, they haven't adapted it to Tekkit or any of the other mods, and it will trash Tekkit stuff if you try to edit it. But anyway, this is just an introductory video and kind of a video recording test. I'm trying to getting fraps set up and editing and what have you, but let me know what you think. I'll be back probably in a day or two with another video. See ya.